I'm Jason Jorgensen. It's once again time for Husker Chat. We are joined by Sean Callahan of Husker Online. Husker Chat brought to you by Acres Equipment. Huskers coming off a tough road trip out west, losing a tight one to USC. Sean, what was that whole spectacle like on Saturday?
You know, the setting and the venue and the upgrades they've made. I mean, it was a phenomenal setting to watch college football in. The band, it just had a very pure feel that day. Open air press box in terms of the windows. So yeah, just for our view, that's why you do this job. It was a great college football Saturday, and a lot of Nebraska fans, probably nearly 20,000, traveled out for the game. Disappointing to see Nebraska lose, but there were still a lot of things I think you could take away from that performance here to build on for these next 2 weeks.
It was game one with Dana Holgorsen calling the shots. What was your take on how that went and how that looks going forward?
Well, I thought the flow of the operation looked better. Just the feel of him calling a game, especially his first game at Nebraska, and some of the concepts they did with the receivers and even the run game. You could see big picture what this can and will be down the road. And we heard Dana Holgorsen talk for the first time this week, and he's a lot more candid, a little bit more blunt than what we're used to. And he just basically called out receivers for their blocking. He's like, if you want to play for me, you got to block better than that. And he's like, I told the running backs coach, there's holes there. Your guys should be hitting those holes. And, you know, I think for Husker fans, that's music to your ears, because that's what a lot of people have been watching and seeing play out the last several games, or, you know, last couple years, or several more before that. So I thought that was interesting to hear him be so honest about some of the things that need to be done now moving forward.
It's interesting to hear him talk. You can see he's still trying to learn who everybody is, and he's he's referring to players as a number. I think that's a little different too.
Yeah, you know, it's the reality of him just getting here when he did. He's not involved with recruiting with any of these guys. He's only been in Lincoln for 3 weeks, going on his third week. And for most of that time, he's locked in an office, probably watching film and game planning. And it will get better each and every week. I think the timing, they did this over the bye week. So having that additional week before last week and now this week, it will go a long way. I think now knowing what he has to work with and having a full game, I think it will look a lot better this week at home.
Today on Husker Chat, we're joined by Sean Callahan. We're brought to you by Acres Equipment. Sean, unfortunately for me, watching the game, it was disappointing to see that there was another juncture in the game when the defense needed to stop and needed to get off the field, and they couldn't get it done, and we've seen that before.
Yeah, unfortunately, Nebraska's defense, and they've been in the right position to knock down balls, 50-50 balls in coverage, the things that you need to do, and they couldn't do it. I mean, they had multiple interception opportunities dropped. I mean, there was an opportunity in the end zone for Malcolm Hartstog to get a pick six and take it the other way 100 yards. I mean, if he gets the ball and jump times it correctly, he's gone 100 yards, 102 yards, whatever it would have been. And instead it's a touchdown. So, I mean, but I feel like that's been Nebraska football in a nutshell. There's so many of those. Well, if this would have happened, that would have happened. And now Nebraska needs to turn the tide on that and finishing some of these plays. I thought the pass rush wasn't at its best either Saturday in terms of getting to the quarterback. Jaden Maeva really never got touched. And I think for this defense to operate at a high level, they have to get to the quarterback more.
All right, let's put that Southern Cal loss in the rearview mirror. Now the matchup with Wisconsin. The Badgers have been a major pain for the Huskers for quite a while, and they've got their own coaching issues. Who would have guessed here in this one that each team would be playing with a brand new offensive coordinator?
Yeah, Phil Longo was fired by Luke Fickell on Sunday as the Badgers move into this week, and a real similar thing Nebraska did. The difference is they're not going to bring somebody from the outside. Fickell will not announce who's calling the plays. It will be a, quote, collaborative effort with his coaching staff. So you can't imagine they're going to be able to change a lot, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do either. I think Luke Fickell probably has a idea of some things they want to do, and they're going to do them. So early in this game, there'll be a few new wrinkles the Badgers will probably toss out that Nebraska needs to be ready for. Some new tendencies that they probably haven't shown because of the new coordinator. So it does add an element of surprise going into this game for Nebraska. And Still think Dana Holgorsen gives Nebraska an element of surprise because they're going to be able to come out with some new wrinkles as well. But a unique deal, and two programs in real similar positions, both at 5-5. Last year, the Badgers and Huskers were both in the same position as well, and the Badgers were able to win the final couple games to get to 7, and then go to the Outback Bowl, or the bowl in Tampa, and they lost to LSU. So Nebraska's in that spot. Can they get this win and then go to Iowa, and Wisconsin's got Minnesota next? It's a huge game for both these teams.
Quickly, I want to get your thoughts on this. It was discussed this week in Lincoln. Moving forward, rosters are going to be cut. They're limited to 105 guys. Do you think that's maybe kind of the end of the walk-on program?
Yeah, it's not a good deal. I think a lot of programs are still going to keep 10 to 20 walk-ons of the 105. And I would imagine Nebraska will do something similar. But right now, they have almost 100 guys that are on scholarship because the NIL collective, is paying for additional players on top of the 85. So there's not going to be a lot of wiggle room. I would imagine Nebraska will carry a bigger roster into the spring. And then some hard decisions will have to come for Nebraska long-term following the spring. And even in August training camp, to get it down to 105. You see sports like baseball have to do this. Like, baseball might have 47 players and they got to get down to 40. And that's what football is going to be like now. You're going to have maybe 120 guys go into something, and you might have to get rid of 15 of them. And there could be a scenario where they create a practice squad or a taxi squad. But I don't know how attractive that's going to be if you're not going to be able to dress out and be a part of the game day operations.
For sure. Just another sign of the changing landscape of college football. That's for sure.
Yeah, no question. And I would imagine the big winners, though, are going to be the group of 5, Division II. Like Matt Rule said, there's going to be 20, 30, 40 players from almost every team that will enter the transfer portal. So there's going to be a fall down effect to the lower levels of football. And I think a lot of the lower levels of football will benefit by finding some quality players that right now are maybe being stashed on the highest level of football, not playing. So I think there could be a positive if you're a program like UNK or a South Dakota State or South Dakota. There's going to be some players that become available that may not have a home, and you'll be able to find one for them.
All right. Sean, as always, we appreciate the time. Hopefully we all get to see a win on Saturday.
From your lips to God's ears. Thanks, Jason.
All right. That was Sean Callahan, publisher of Husker Online, joining us for Husker Chat. We are here every week during the season, and it's brought to you by Acres Equipment. I'm Jason Jorgensen.